Hi everyone, and welcome back to Words of Wisdom. Don't reopen doors that karma closed. Some people don't come back because they've changed. They come back because they remember what your presence did for them. There comes a point in your healing journey when the people who once took you for granted begin to notice your absence. They see that you're no longer chasing them, no longer begging for explanations, no longer accepting breadcrumbs disguised as love. And that's when they return. If someone put you in a third-party situation, chose someone else while expecting you to wait, treated your heart like an option, or betrayed your trust, be careful when they suddenly reappear. Their return doesn't automatically mean they deserve another chance. Your healing changed your energy. Your peace is noticeable. Your confidence is stronger. Your light is powerful. Sometimes people are drawn back to that transformation, not because they've truly changed, but because they remember how your presence made them feel. People can absolutely change, but real change is demonstrated consistently over time through accountability, honesty, and different actions. Not simply because someone returns with apologies after life becomes difficult. There's nothing wrong with being compassionate. Continue to spread your light. Continue to help others. Continue to be the kind soul you've always been. But don't confuse compassion with self-sacrifice. There's a difference between inspiring someone and allowing them to deplete you. Some people return looking for comfort, stability, and the energy they lost when they walked away. They remember how you encouraged them when they doubted themselves. They remember how you listened without judgment, believed in them when no one else did, and gave them a safe place to land. They remember what you gave. But ask yourself, do they remember what they took? Think about what happened the first time. You lost sleep wondering why you weren't enough. You questioned your worth because someone else's choices made you feel replaceable. You ignored your intuition because you wanted to believe the promises. You carried the relationship while they entertained someone else. You forgave things that should have been deal breakers because you loved them more than you loved your own boundaries. Now imagine opening that same door again before they've truly done the inner work. At first, everything seems different. They tell you they've changed. They say you're the only one they've ever truly loved. They promise they'll never hurt you again. So you let them back in. Soon, you're answering late-night phone calls, encouraging them when they're overwhelmed, reminding them of their value, helping them rebuild their confidence, and pouring your love into someone who feels broken. And little by little, they begin feeling stronger. But something starts happening to you. You become emotionally exhausted. The peace you fought so hard to find begins disappearing. You start overthinking again. You start checking your phone again. You begin wondering where they are, who they're with, and whether history is quietly repeating itself. The anxiety you worked so hard to heal starts returning. Your confidence begins to fade. Your joy starts depending on their consistency instead of your own inner peace. This is how emotional depletion often happens. You pour, they receive. You forgive, they recover. You invest, they regain their footing. Then, once they're emotionally stable again, they may leave the same way they did before because they were looking for relief, not transformation. Not every person who comes back has bad intentions, but not every person who comes back has done enough inner work to deserve another chance. One of life's hardest lessons is realizing that love alone doesn't build a healthy relationship. Trust does, respect does, honesty does, accountability does, consistency does. Sometimes people return because they recognize your healing and want access to the peace they've lost. But if they haven't accepted responsibility for the choices that hurt you, your energy can become the very thing they rely on instead of doing the work themselves. Everyone has lessons they must learn. Whatever your beliefs about karma or life lessons, real growth usually comes from facing the consequences of our actions. not avoiding them by leaning on the very person we wounded. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and even for them is to step aside and allow them to learn those lessons without sacrificing your own peace. Protecting your peace is not bitterness, it's wisdom. You didn't fight so hard to heal just to return to the very situation that broke you. Your energy is valuable. Your heart is sacred. Not everyone who asks for access deserves it. You are not a rehabilitation center for people who wounded you. You are not responsible for restoring someone who shattered your trust. You are not obligated to keep giving chances to someone who only values you after losing access to you. Your light was never meant to be consumed by people who only appreciate it when they're surrounded by darkness. Choose people who protect your peace instead of testing it. Choose relationships built on honesty instead of confusion. Choose the people who choose you the first time. And remember, just because someone comes back doesn't mean they're meant to stay. Sometimes their return isn't an invitation to begin again. It's a test to see whether you've truly learned the lesson that once broke your heart. All right, guys, I've got to go. If this message resonated with you, like, share, and subscribe. You never know who needs this reminder before they reopen a door that was meant to stay closed. I love you, and God bless.